My teenager just told me part of the plan, and then I found out the rest later. And you know what? I'm not even mad about it because I did the exact same thing. Went out with a couple of friends, and then I hardly look at the location. I'm like, oh, you're at this place, and this place has a bad reputation. And so I'm like, okay, so let's not be reactive. And kind of was reactive. So then I texted him like, hey, I'm sorry, because he was safe and sound. And then I found out the rest of the plan through another parent. And I'm like, oh, okay. So like everything's good, but I never got the whole entire plan. And I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, I did the exact same thing. I would tell my parents just enough to get out of the house and be able to leave my house safely without like too many questions. And sitting here trying to figure out how to react. I remember being 15, telling my parents just enough to get out of the house. You call it survival, they call it the same thing. Didn't tell my parents a whole lot, right? Like I'm sure the door was open and I just chose to close it and not tell them anything because my first thought would be like they would say no, they would ask way too many questions. So I would just, not tell them the whole plan. With him, I ask so many questions, like he already knows I'm going to ask questions. So he just like voluntarily tells me everything. So when this happened, I was like, so I wonder why he just didn't tell me the whole plan. And it's not even a big deal. Like what he did is not even a big deal. But it was just like the fact that he didn't say the whole plan. And so afterwards we were talking about it and I'm just like, this is so crazy. He's like, because I knew you were probably going to ask a million questions and I just didn't feel like getting interrogated at that point, which makes complete sense because that's exactly what I did. That's what my mind did. And I just want to have that connection with him. Like, hey, with both of my boys, like you can tell me anything because I've probably pulled the same thing. And I don't want your immediate reaction or your thought before you ask me like would be no. I don't want them to have that. So it's like, what did I do that you would think I would say no? Because other parents, right? They always tell me, my kids like, well, so and so gets to do this and his parents don't care. And one of our big things is because as an 8th grader and a 9th grader, they don't have any social media. Have they snuck around and tried to like download social media? Of course. Have we caught them? Yes. But I think that's why they just know like, well, she's just going to say no because we haven't allowed them to have social media yet, right? So maybe that's why they just think automatically no, and like we're just a little more strict, which I don't think we're stricter than normal parents, but so and so gets everything and their parents don't care. So maybe that's why they just assume we will say no all the time. But our communication is like top. We have great communication. So you relive yourself at that age. He told me that raising teenagers, I would have to change my parenting. Like I should have figured that would be the case. Like that's what every parent does. But I was just like, dun, dun, let's just like ride this wave. Like we were good in elementary school. I had an inner child freak out in middle school and saw myself really well. And so now I'm just like, oh yeah, this parenting for me, I have to really change. And then being in perimenopause, raising hormonal teenage boys, I'm just like, wow, this is like a full on battle within myself. And I got to just really be that steady. So yeah, it's wild, right? And so you just got to change with your kids. And if you're having issues, you got to look deep down in yourself and say, oh, what am I doing I don't know, what's my part in this whole situation? Even though we are the parent there, we play a huge part, right? We want our kids to be safe and tell us everything. But guess what? They're not, because you didn't tell your parents. I sure as heck didn't tell my parents. And there's a lot of things that I didn't tell my parents. We survived, but we really want our kids to survive. And now we can track them like crazy. So, but we got to be careful with that. So it's just a wild road parenting teenagers. You got to let them have some freedom. But whew, it's hard on a parent for sure. So thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Go follow me on Instagram, TikTok, post some videos there as well. So thank you so much for coming back, and I will see you next time. And I'm here to tell you what nobody else tells you as a parent, because I learned it all the wrong way, or I did it all the wrong way, and now I'm here to share what I don't want you to go through, like what I did. All right? Talk to you later. Bye.